Hey guys, Curtis Parks here, and you are watching Worshipology. Well, today I want to dive into auditions, worship auditions. Why do you have them? Why should or you shouldn't have them on your worship team? And I just kind of want to dive into some of the thought processes behind what we do at National Community Church. We've been doing auditions ever since I came almost 7 years ago to the church. And I just think about what's at stake. Right? You're putting people on your worship team, you're putting them on a stage in front of your church to lead them in worshipful encounters with God's presence. You don't do that flippantly. You want to do that with intentionality. You want to set your team up for success and put people on the stage that understand both the skill side of it as well as the ministry side of it. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. We look at everybody on our stage as some form of leadership. You don't just put anybody on a stage. And so there's a little bit of accountability that comes with that. We actually have our worship team members sign a leadership covenant. And this is just something that allows us to hold our teams accountable and say, hey, look, I want to make sure that there's not any gossip going on, that you're living according to the biblical moral standard that we're setting here. And also there's the practical side of expectations with that leadership, right? With our drummers, hey, you got to play to a click track. With our guitar players, you need to know the parts. You don't just need to come in to a rehearsal and say, hey, how does this song go? And then with our vocals, we're really looking for three major things: tone, pitch, and blend. And that also comes with harmonies. You need to be able to sing harmonies. And so there's the moral expectation, which comes with a covenant that we have people sign, and then of course the musicianship expectation. And so there's both of those sides, and honestly what that comes out of is this really cool verse in the Old Testament. Now, all throughout the Old Testament you see skilled musicians being placed in positions of leadership because they took what they did seriously. And I love First Chronicles chapter 25 verse 7. It has this idea of both skill and ministry, and this is one of the things that we look for when we do an audition. Let me read this. First Chronicles chapter 25 verse 6 says, all these men were under the supervision of their father for the music of the temple of the Lord, with cymbals, lyres, and harps for the ministry at the house of God. Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman were under the supervision of the king. Now verse 7 says this, along with their relatives, all of them trained and skilled in music for the Lord, they numbered 288. So that's one of the major things we look for, skill and ministry. You gotta bring an excellence to what you do, and that's the skill side. And then you need to know that it's not just a hobby. This is not just scratching your itch to be in a band. There's ministry that goes in leading worship. And then I'll leave you with this thought. We do worship auditions in three phases. First is the audition. We want to know that you're going to come in, you're going to audition with a band, play the parts, and not freeze up. The second phase of that audition is you're going to plug into a rehearsal, and this is where you kind of learn the ins and outs of your monitor mix, playing with the band, interacting with your local music community. And then that third phase is actually playing in a live service, and this is where we just want to make sure you're ready for that aspect of it, not a deer in headlights, because it's a little more intense when you've got a bunch of people in front of you. And so those three phases, the audition, rehearsal, and live service, that just helps set everybody up for success. So I know that's a lot of information. Hopefully that helped. Thanks for tuning in, and God bless.